Well, the Modi government's 3.0 first full budget has kept the middle class at the centre. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, who presented her 8th consecutive budget, announced major tax relief for the middle class. Those earning up to 12 lakh rupees per annum will not have to pay any taxes at all. So this essentially means that the middle class will have more money in their hands, which will spur household consumption and drive growth. While the Prime Minister called it a budget that will act as a force multiplier, the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said that putting more money in people's pockets will boost consumption.
We are saying now they will have 1,10,000, lakh in their pockets, which they don't have to pay as tax. So we have put good substantial amounts into the pockets of people who deserve to get that. There is no reduction in the public spending on capital expenditure.
इसका बहुत बड़ा फायदा हमारे मिडिल क्लास को, नौकरी पेशे करने वाले जिनकी आय बंधी हुई है, इससे बहुत बड़ा लाभ होने वाला। जिनको नए नए जॉब मिले हैं, इनकम टैक्स की ये मुक्ति उनके लिए एक बहुत बड़ा अवसर बन जाएगी।
और 12 लाख रुपए तक हमारे मध्यम वर्ग के लोगों को इनकम टैक्स से मुक्ति देने का काम नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने।
Now, the tax-paying Janta is ecstatic. For years, they have been waiting with bated breath for this kind of a relief. But the opposition, which accused the Modi government of crushing people under the tyranny of tax terrorism, is still cynical. Some are even linking the tax relief to elections. And there are others who are of the view that reducing tax burden will not help, reducing inflation will. Leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi says that this is like putting a band-aid over bullet wounds. And former Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal is asking why the government has not given any assurances on his demand that there shouldn't be any loan waivers for billionaires.
बजट का पूरा लक्ष्य 25 लोगों को फायदा पहुंचाने का। आपको थोड़ा सा दे देंगे, कह देंगे भैया ये लो थोड़ा सा टैक्स माफ कर लेंगे। अगर आप बजट का लक्ष्य देखेंगे तो हिंदुस्तान का धन 20-25 अरबपतियों को देने का है।
क्या बजट ने हमारे लिए मरने वाले आंकड़े ज्यादा महत्वपूर्ण हैं?
तो सारे दल साथ थे सर।
जब जो सरकार मरने वाले आंकड़ों को न दे सके, हम इनके किस आंकड़े को मान लें?
Very disappointing budget. The budget seems to be like that is planned in such a way to woo the voters for Delhi, especially the Delhi election coming on the 5th of this month.
चुनाव की घड़ी है तो कहीं वही सोच कर तो चुनावी बजट पेश नहीं किया गया, और खासकर बिहार को फोरफ्रंट में लेके।
पार्टी के राष्ट्रीय संयोजक केजरीवाल जी ने उन्होंने कहा था कि भाई गवर्नमेंट इस बात के लिए देश को आश्वस्त करे, एश्योर करे कि जो पूंजीपति दोस्त हैं बीजेपी के, उनके कर्जे माफ नहीं किए जाएंगे।
So there are a lot of questions. While middle class has been celebrating the news that came in from the Union Finance Minister, there are also some questions. So let's break it down for you and tell you what this means for your salary, for you. If you earn 1 lakh a month, then you have to pay 0 taxes. So your savings are going to be about 80,000 a year. So there is no income tax till 12 lakh per annum. So if the annual payment or the annual CTC is 12 lakh rupees, then there is 0 taxes applicable to you. So what does this actually mean for you? Let's tell you why this is significant and what this means for the middle class. It, of course, means that there's going to be more money in their hands, and this is going to boost the household consumption. This means that people are also going to be saving a lot more money and will also be subsequently spending more. And as they have money to invest more as well, the investments are going to see a boost. The spending is also going to see a boost that is going to further boost the economy. So the tax exemptions, let's break it down. For the opposition that has been saying that this is not much of a relief for the middle class, this is not much of a relief to the salaried class, let's break it down for you and tell you the limits and how they have changed. Take a look at these numbers. In 2005, the limit was for up to 1 lakh, those earning up to 1 lakh per annum. Then it increased. In 2012, it became 2 lakh. In 2014, it had been slightly increased to 2.5 lakh, after which the threshold had been moved to 5 lakh. And in 2023, 2023, it was moved to 7 lakh. In these 2 years period, there was also a lot of discontent among the salaried class who had been saying that they have been burdened by the taxes. And now the government making the announcement, and this is a huge relief that's going to benefit people across the country. The limit now being increased to 12 lakh, which means that for those who are earning up to 12 lakh per annum, there is going to be zero taxes. The opposition now has claimed that the southern states have been ignored. Amid the criticism that came in, they said that there's nothing in the budget. One criticism that came in is that there was not enough mention of the southern states. Chief Ministers of Kerala, Tamil Nadu and Karnataka have all stated that their states have been given a very raw deal, and only states which are ruled by the BJP and its allies have been given significant importance in the budget, saying that they did not have a vision for job creation, there were no proposals to improve India's investment climate, and no minimum support price as guarantee for the farmers, and no strategy really to counter the inflation. Listen in to what the opposition said.
Karnataka, as you know, we are number 2. Bihar ಮತ್ತು ಆಂಧ್ರ ಪ್ರದೇಶ. ಬಿಹಾರ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಸಮ್ಮಿಶ್ರ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಇದೆ. ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೆ ಸರ್ಕಾರಕ್ಕೆ ವಿಶೇಷ ಅನುದಾನ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಆಂಧ್ರಕ್ಕೆ ಅವರು ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಸರ್ಕಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ದುಡ್ಡು ನೀಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಎಂದು ಅದೇ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಅವರಿಗೆ ಕಳೆದ ವರ್ಷನೂ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು ಈ ವರ್ಷನೂ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು. ಒಂದು ರೀತಿ ಬಿಹಾರ್ ಮತ್ತು ಆಂಧ್ರ
The state of Kerala is being neglected once again. We had a number of demands and all those demands were genuinely raised, but not even a single demand was properly accepted by the government. That is which I would like to say first. Secondly, whatever laws were there in our country to regulate the onslaught of these neoliberal policies, now that is going to be deregulated.
When we looked at the union budget today, as usual, as expected, I spoke with the media yesterday also and said that there will be nothing for Telangana, and there was nothing given to Telangana. It's really unfortunate that one newly formed state has been grossly ignored by this government in the consecutive last 11 budgets, which is an unfortunate state of affairs, because a union government is supposed to think about every state, but they're only thinking about the states which are going to elections. That is why today the entire union budget sounded like a Bihar election budget.
Now, Nitish Kumar's JDU, along with Chandrababu Naidu's TDP, played a key role in the NDA forming the government, as the BJP failed to get a majority on its own. And Bihar is seeing a bonanza that was announced in the budget. In fact, 26,000 crores had been announced in the 2024 budget for various road projects in the state, and now it has been increased further. Now, many continue to say that this was a budget that was meant exclusively for Bihar.
कि अगर आपके पास तनख्वाह है तो आप कम टैक्स देंगे, लेकिन जिनके पास रोजगार नहीं है उनके पास तनख्वाह कहाँ से है? और बेरोजगारी के बारे में हम कुछ नहीं सुना।
बिहार को भी बहुत कुछ मिला है।
हाँ, बिहार को बहुत कुछ मिला है, क्योंकि बिहार में चुनाव आने वाला, चुनावी बजट बन गया। तो ये भी आप सोच लीजिए कि जिस पार्टी कह रहे हैं कि 1 नेशन 1 इलेक्शन, वो लोग ऐसे दिखा रहे हैं कि अगर हर स्टेट में हर अलग अलग साल पे इलेक्शन हो तो उनके लिए अच्छा है, क्योंकि ज्यादा पैसे मिल जाएंगे उनके बजट।
मुझे ये समझ नहीं आ रहा कि ये भारत सरकार का बजट है कि बिहार सरकार का बजट है। आपने बिहार के अलावा किसी और प्रदेश का नाम सुना वित्त मंत्री जी के पूरे बजट भाषण में? तो जब आप देश के बजट की बात करते हैं तो सारे देश के लिए उसमें कुछ ना कुछ होना चाहिए।
बिहार के पिछले बजट को बिहार के संदर्भ में देखें, इसको देखें, एक तुलनात्मक अध्ययन करें, तो जो कहते हैं ना कि पुरानी शराब नई बोतल, तो यहाँ शराब भी पुरानी, बोतल भी पुरानी, और रैपर बड़ी लिजलिजा सा नया सा झकास टाइप जो होता है वो। असल में आपको देखना होगा ना कि बिहार की प्राथमिकता क्या है, बिहार के संकट के मुख्य कारण क्या है। अगर उसके निदान के लिए आपने कुछ ऑफर नहीं किया तो इसका मतलब ये कॉस्मेटिक्स में ज्यादा है और तमाशेबाजी से आप चाहते हैं कि बिहार को ठगने की कोशिश करें।
And well, after presenting the budget, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman is exclusively speaking to news agency PTI. Let's cut across.
Which will themselves trigger a path towards growth. And also I think the way in which we've looked at the customs tariff rationalization, import of essential goods coming down in tariff, are all indicators towards propelling greater growth.
Yeah, ma'am, your revenue projections are pretty optimistic, and you are at the same time you are also sacrificing 1.3 lakh crore in personal tax exemption in this one. Where are those revenues going to come from? How optimistic are you that you will be able to meet those projections?
I thought I was accused of always being conservative in my estimates. And I've every time said our numbers are realistic because we do a lot of, prior to announcing in the budget the numbers, we do a lot of work and understand that we are definitely not exaggerating our targets. At the same time, we do not want underestimate it and for domain experts later on to say, oh, you've underestimated today, you're performing this much, it's not great. We've always shown realistic numbers. So that is where we have placed the numbers.
On the infrastructure spending, it's a little bit disappointing that you have not allocated as much as was the expectation. Could you have done better in CapEx?
If we are looking at the numbers, because we've got used to 16-17% increase every year from 2020, and saying, oh, you've not increased it by that number, I would equally want to ask you to please look at the way in which the quality of spending has happened, particularly capital expenditure. And I must appreciate the states which received the 50-year interest-free share of the money, which went from our side as capital expenditure for them. They have also shown very great interest in capital expenditure, and the quality of expenditure therefore has been very good. At the same time, last year when we touched 11.11, this year building on it, it is about 10.1 over the RE, which is far more realistic. And 1 year, 2024, has had the difficulty of elections happening. Difficulty, I say, from the point of view of capital expenditure. Right. Elections are very much a necessity and also very due democratic process. Yeah. But during that year, the election year, which we've just completed, the capital expenditure did go a bit slow. Otherwise, my RE would have also been closer to the number given.
You lost 4 months in the elections.
And also into Q2.
Right. Yeah. You mentioned states. I've got a question about states. The opposition is saying that this budget was entirely for Bihar and in an indirect way for Delhi, both of which are going to the elections in Delhi in a few days and Bihar in a few months. What do you have to say to the opposition?
I think for want of criticism, they seem to be picking up. I'm sorry to be so blunt. Yeah. I've said this even last time when they alleged me of, you're announcing only for your allied partners. Andhra and Bihar are the only two you're naming. Nobody has had anything else coming. I think these are lame and lazy, quick way to look at the budget. Every state gets its share of all the central schemes, gets their due grants in aid, which are decided by the Finance Commission. Every state gets a part of the due for the expressways, the freight corridors, the railways, the airports, and some big ticket seaports, which are also getting built. Each year I don't announce them, but they are funded by us for over several years. Major port projects are never completed within 1 year. Sure. So those monies get stopped the next year, when I don't name them? No, it still goes to them. So it's all right for them to have to comment something is fine, but I'd rather want them to go through the details of it and engage constructively.
Yeah.
So the Union Finance Minister speaking about the budget outlay and also speaking about how this is going to boost the economy, answering the critics as well on the criticism that it did not have enough for the non-NDA states. With that, we're slipping into a short break here. We'll be right back. Do stay with us.